Okay.
So, hello. Can
Hello.
you describe your first movie, your first documentary you shot as a student?
When I don't know what to do with the camera
Yes.
and what kind of films to shoot, because I have to in that time I have to make a feature film, but I didn't know about what to make a film. And it was for me difficult because I didn't know what kind of phenomena I have in my arms. And for me, it was one of the way when we just put camera to the window with my colleague, co-student with whom I made this film, and shoot construction, how people build the house exact behind the window. And it was interesting as an object of observation, because they try to escape from that process and try to find the different possibilities how to rest but not work. And it was funny to see that. And we tried to fix with the camera all this process, and finally we made a film which named Today We Are Going to Build a House. In this film, no words, just observation, edit, music, Estonian music, folk, funny music, and it was like the first film which I can name it like a fairy tale, because the whole film they tried to find a way how to escape from the work, and finally on the morning house was constructed.
When you were shooting this film, did you have the feeling that you were able to catch more the reality than the people involved in the action itself?
I can catch more reality
through this big picture, or what is reality? Does it exist through the image?
It's a very difficult question. I don't know what to say to you because reality, I can say that it's 5 numbers, just 5 numbers, like Planck constant. These numbers which defined our space. The rest it's result of these forces and I don't know, and relations in between particulars. And you can say exactly that these numbers exist.
Okay.
The rest, it's things, abstractions, what we think about it. Because we live in the world where a lot of reflections, and I don't think that we can see what exists around us.
So reality is just what
you have, for example, you have to fight with your brain.
Yes.
You have to fight with it because brain organized in the special way. One of the meaning, it's one of the reason why our brain organized that way, because we have protect I have to protect myself, and everybody have the same task. And many things what happens inside us connect with it. You know, when we, for example, know some part of information about something or somebody, our brain reconstruct the rest.
Gives a story, tells something.
And way how we get this rest part, it can be a false. It can be it's not true, but the way how the brain give us this another part and push us to trust to that. It's a way. It's a very dangerous way. You have to fight with it.
So we make our own propaganda with our interpretation.
Of course. Yeah, it is like that. Only you can have only intuition, and you can trust if it is inside. You can trust to your intuition, but not to the proof which we can see. Even if we can see these things. But a lot of tragedy built and based on that, that characteristic of our behavior.
Behavior, yes. Going back to your movies, your films, the rhythm is very important. You have a special way of working with diagrams and how you proceed for each movie, for each film, how you construct it, and the notion of time. Is it important in this construction?
The rhythm important everywhere. We now in the building where you can see rhythm. It's a distance in between similar objects. It's a rhythm between window. It's a rhythm. Rhythm. It's a relation between size or between
measures
of different things, which have similar task. Kind of like that. And in the picture you also can see the rhythm in some, I don't know, piece of art. Everywhere you can see the rhythm. In human body, rhythm also exists, and it's necessary to make like object. Otherwise, it will be not. It will be something where things exist separate. I can unify
like
things
an ensemble.
With with a rhythm, and you know this golden zero. I don't know how to say in English. Золотое сечение. Golden 0, 6, 7, 8. How it's named? It's a kind of connection in between size. And if you will keep the length of the shots with according this kind of relation, more or less, you will have more or less harmony in your rhythm. And it's a long. It's one more lecture how to work with rhythm and how to change the meanings of the shots with
breaks,
with length of that shots, and many things. But it's better to explain when you work on some concrete film with concrete material, because the abstract rules, they are very simple, and it's not so many rules, but it's difficult to use this
to apply
simple rules.
Do you
this is question of practice.
Yes. Do you still feel like a mathematician when you make your films, or like a composer?
No, I still feel like a film director.
Okay.
I use these toys and my knowledge of making films, but sometimes maybe you don't know from where some ideas came, and maybe from math, maybe from, I don't know, spirit, but I know exactly that I use some rules and this kind of knowledge, and this is very mathematics. It's very abstract science when you don't know what you're talking about, but you know what you're talking about, because what it means. One, can you show me? If you say this is a one page, it's a page, but where is the one?
Yes.
And the idea of zero, how, when it was, who created this idea? You don't know?
No.
It's very also interesting, because it's a philosophical idea.
Yes.
And it came from India, from the monks, in 7th century before Christus, 7th, 8th century before Christus. From the monk, from the forest, they created this idea.
How?
We have to talk about Indian philosophy. But everybody use this zero.
Yes.
They use it, and thinking that it was all the time
there,
and there.
present. Yes.
And they think that they know what is it, zero or infinity, which is the same. Zero and infinity, it's the same thing. But in the same time, they didn't know that what it means, zero.
So it's again a question of time, that you don't know, or you know something which is important to use.
What it means time. we have to define what it means time. For example, if you want to know something, for example, you go to the try to meet somebody who know about that more and can explain you. When you come to that person and ask him, explain me please, this person will say, okay, but we needed time for that. Time, this is one of the possibility how describe things which exist in one moment. Time, it's one of the a tool for description. Time. For example, book exists in, book.
It's an
already
object,
exists,
yes.
Object. But You can't say that I know this book or I know about what it's written. You have to
Open it.
open and read. You need the time for that. You have book, this exists, and in same time it doesn't exist for you. Before you're reading. Paradox.
That's
You needed
very-
time to escape from that paradox. But in same time we don't know what it means, time. What is it? Past or present or future? Future doesn't exist. Present doesn't exist. Because when I say that, it is already
over.
past. And past what it was.
So is it something about time again that you had to shoot your last movie Maidan? Was it a need of being there in this time, or is it a personal need of your roots, of your nationality, or is it a need of revealing something universal about dignity in our civilization?
This is not or, it's and.
And. Okay.
But I would like to finish my previous sentence. Time, the cinema, it is one of the possibility to feel time, because we catch it. Like you can the same, you can repeat the same moment of the life. You can shoot, and after that repeat many times. It means that you can feel and переживать.
Przeżywać, live, to live this.
To live.
Yeah.
Relive this moment. And you can recognize that time exists through the cinema.
And you can have then different interpretations, maybe, anytime, or meanings.
I can say that film is a illusion of two-dimension projection of reality in time.
Okay.
Illusion.
It's an illusion.
Of course, a projection of in two dimension in time. Photo, it's a illusion of two dimension illusion of reality in one moment. Cinema exists in time. And we can feel time through this phenomenon. Okay, let's come back to Maidan.
So you had different needs to shoot this movie.
Yeah.
What was the first need? How you decide about a topic, which is here political?
It is in same time it's human.
And everything.
And everything. It's not only political, but sometimes this kind of things happens. It's a revolution, and it's interesting moment when people think that they can do everything. They have kind of
power.
Euphoria. about utopia, about future. It's like children when they're thinking about the future. It's kind of euphoria. They can be that cosmonaut, footballist. They have everything.
Everything is possible.
All illusion come. And also you can feel that also in Kiev. When I was in December, I feel that also this kind of euphoria was in the spirit with everything else. And this is interesting moment when which I can, for Ukrainians, I can define as a moment of when nation was born, like a birth of nation. Maybe nation exists before, but you need something, some situation to appear that to recognize.
Reveal, yes.
Because like it was a few years ago was one film from Great Britain which named We Have to Talk About Kevin.
Yes.
Tilda Swinton.
With Tilda Swinton.
Play mother of Kevin. She played the role of woman who she know something wrong with Kevin, but she can't prove. But after it happens, Kevin is a son. After it happens, she can't do anything.
So
we are with yes, but I just remind this because it's kind of model how we defined or how we recognize some concrete things. Before we can't do anything, we didn't know. After we can't do anything because we can't influence. It happens. And the same with Ukraine. Maybe it was a nation before, maybe, of course, but after Maidan you can exactly say that it is a nation. It's kind of moment which can fix that.
Is it the 35th minute of history? This kind of moments, these war moments or revolutionary moments, like the 45th minute of culmination of the tension in a movie, in a film, in a good film?
45th.
You were talking about the 45th minute in your master class yesterday.
Yeah,
like the culmination. And do you think
it is kind of culmination?
Yes,
it is kind of culmination because after that, after this revolution finished, and for long year in the future, it fixed something in consciousness of many people. It's complete fix even with victims of that revolution, with the people who such a brave and such a strong and ready to die for this kind of abstract things like dignity, which is very concrete, but for many people it's abstract, and freedom, which is very concrete, but it's also difficult to imagine that people here in Europe ready to die for the dignity. Maybe, we don't know. Maybe. This situation don't come at the moment.
Doesn't come anymore?
No, here, for example.
Here,
you can't understand.
Yes.
You don't know. Because here life more or less, swimming somehow without any strong crisis for individual.
But
You can't say that you have a deal with you contact or you speak with the individual or not before you check it, before a situation will for that person will be such a strong that this person have to make a decision. Before decision you can't do anything.
No.
You can't say anything.
And how is your feeling now about the conflict, about the war between Russia and Ukraine, and between Russia and Europe and United States? Can we talk about a Cold War again? And do you think there is a way out? A lot of questions, but I think you have a feeling.
My feeling is that next 10 years will be very hard for everybody. It will. I think it will be a war. It is now, and as you know, it's not only a problem of president or somebody in the power in Russia. It's also another problem that people, a lot of people in Russia agree with the president.
Yes.
And what you can do with them? It's like a Russian writer, he said once that, Davlatov, he said that, okay, I agree that Stalin, of course, tyrann, but who was 4 million people who written letter to the NKVD? Donosy.
Donioshnicy, the people who were giving names of other...
Yeah. This kind of anonymous, this is dangerous, because, on the political stage you can press, you can make a sanction, and etc., etc. You can somehow a little bit manage situation, but on the other stage, what you can do with these people? How to protect the world from them.
Do you believe in education in this particular
education? It's many generation. This is main problem which we have because if, for example, the human live 1,000 years, okay, in that case, no worry, we have to wait 100 more years till Russians, or I don't know, the people who live in that country will understand and a little bit more educate, and after that we continue discussion. This is one of the way, of course, but the problem is we have to decide our problem right now.
Yeah.
We can't wait. In that case, another strategy, war.
We are talking about nuclear war again.
I don't think it will be like that.
No?
No, not everything depends on the people. I don't think that because because you know, can you imagine that universe start from bacteria and long genesis, long time, and after that we have a human. What we have? We have a consciousness which can describe themselves. the main point, it's a self-description. The consciousness which can try to understand which consciousness doing actually to understand universe and change universe. Can you imagine how long this trip was? In one moment somebody press the button and that's goodbye consciousness. It's not possible.
That's why we had this Cold War, and that's why we maintain an equilibrium. And
I don't think that everything in the arm of the people, in the hand of the people.
But what kind of war you are thinking about?
I don't know what kind of war. Now it's a war which is, which by the way exists now, because this is a clinch situation when you have only, I mean, for example, Russian power. They have only authorities. They have only one way how to develop, because at the moment, till some moment, it was anonymous. You can't say who exactly this question, who is a Mr. Putin?
Yes.
You can't say exactly what kind of politic it is. It was, but now you can say exactly.
Yeah, you know.
Everything is open. It's difficult now to change the color, and because it was a fact. This is we talk about before fact. You don't know anything. This is a fact that Russian troops occupied Crimea, which never happens after 1945 in Europe, which break all the rules, which is dangerous because it brings European country in the house. If Russia can do that,
other countries can do it.
Other
as well.
countries
Yes.
can do. And why we didn't change the border? And only, why I think why people will not doing that, because now territory means nothing in our world, but they can't understand, and I think it will be I will the bad profit, but I think it will be a big operation on the territory of Ukraine. I think I feel that they prepare something like that, because the reaction of European countries is a little bit. This is far away from us. This is inside conflict inside that society. It's difficult for them to understand that it's a conflict in between two different vision of the future, and two different mentalities. One mentality we can define like a Soviet totalitarian mentality, and other mentality it's mentality which is close to European understanding. What is it, persona? What is a property? What is law and rules, and how to build this country in that direction? This is two different mentality. We have, I think, analog of that situation. Like the war which was in the United States in between South and North.
Yes.
This kind of war now, and how you can stop it? Not possible. Because if free Ukraine will exclude Russia as an idea, because in Ukraine also the same Slavic people as live in Russia, more or less.
More or less, yes.
Same Slavic people. And the question will be, because if Ukraine will stay like that, European country, United States, will spend a lot of money to develop everything inside, like economic, the society, and build for, I don't know, like in Poland, they build a country which normal, which better than
Better
it was,
than it was
in,
before, yes.
before in Soviet Union,
Yeah, yeah.
or better than it is in Russia. And after that, the Russian people will say, okay, they looks like they do the same, but why we live in such a bad country and they live in such a good?
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is dangerous.
I would like to talk with you like for hours about that question, and I was thinking maybe we could re-talk. Maybe we could find a moment to talk about again, but now I will ask you a last question, because we have to unfortunately leave. What is the person, or what is the maybe the phenomenon you would like to it's a maybe strange question, to talk with, or to face, or to see? A person you could talk with, or maybe something which could happen before your eyes, which you witness. What is this moment you would like to?
With whom I want to talk
Yes.
right now?
Yes.
Or many people. It's not one person. It's a horse. With whom? Oh.
That's why you are more interested in crowds. You were talking yesterday about your next.
No.
project.
This is a concrete question.
Yeah, this
with
is now a
whom
concrete question.
right now, with whom I would like to talk. No. You know, this Russian mathematic is Jewish, by the way, Perelman.
In St. Petersburg.
He now in Switzerland.
Yes, the one with the.
Yes. He knows some keys.
Yes.
How the universe built.
So with
interesting to talk. If I understand.
Yes.
If he want to speak with me.
Yes.
And if I understand.
Yes.
But many people with whom interesting to talk.
Okay, so thank you for now, and we will try to talk again, maybe.
Thank you.
We have to leave because we are.